Our guest speakers will be coming up to the stage. Please join me in welcoming to the stage His Excellency Ambassador Tete Antonio, Minister of External Relations of the Republic of Angola, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, Senator Christopher Coons, U.S. Senator from Delaware, and Major General James Cowan, CEO of the Halo Trust. So thank you. Welcome also to the delegation from Angola, including Ministers of Finance, Industry and Commerce, Telecommunications, Information Technology and Social Communications, Minister of Health, and Minister of Transport. Welcome also members of the Diplomatic Corps, all honored guests, members of the press, all protocols observed. It is my great privilege to welcome you here today to join the Halo Trust in celebrating Angola's extraordinary leadership in humanitarian landmine clearance, and to hear from 4 distinguished speakers who are all heroes in their own right. You will find headphones on your chair. They will facilitate simultaneous translation between Angolan Portuguese and English. I believe English is 0 and Portuguese is 2, is that correct? Great. So please, again, toggle the switch, listen to your language of choice. My name is Susan Lilas, and I am a proud member of the U.S. Board of Directors of the Halo Trust. And in my day job, working with the ICCF, I assist governments and parliaments across the globe to support their conservation and development priorities. And I'm deeply sensitive to the nexus between protecting the environment and humanitarian demining. I've also had the great fortune to visit my adopted country of Angola numerous times, including many of its parks, which have so much potential for economic development through conservation and tourism. Rarely have I seen a country exhibit the level of political will that the government of Angola does in moving past conflict and ridding its land of the debris of war. Before we hear from today's speakers, I'm pleased to share a brief video that will set the stage for our conversation and will highlight the work that Halo is able to carry out in Angola due to the extraordinary commitment by the government of Angola. So please enjoy the video.
Angolans call this part of their country the land at the end of the earth, where the wind turns. Isolated, untouched, beautiful. But beneath the ground lie hundreds of thousands of landmines. Angola's brutal 27-year civil war ended in 2002. But for the people of this region, the presence of landmines is a continuing source of fear and trauma. Since 1994, the Halo Trust, or Hazardous Areas Life Support Organization, has been clearing landmines in Angola. They've cleared over 93,000 landmines, opened up 5,600 kilometers of safe road access, and educated over 500,000 people about the risks of mines and how to avoid them.
Tu muno muimbolia tu chitangizi mina. Vana kezile vadishminaje, anaka travaya masika vakamanene, kichivana kondoloka ngechivana kaya.
We use international funding to train local people to become skilled enough in order to clear their own land.
Porque na verdade as minas não só afetavam a população, mas também afetavam minha família, afetavam a mim mesmo.
Eu faço pessoalmente este trabalho de desminagem porque sou angolano. E a minha livre vontade é a parte que eu faço para a contribuição do bom país.
The Halo Trust support has also allowed conservationists and scientists to explore Angola's critical endangered habitats.
We've been escorted by the Halo Trust, enabling access for us, safe access.
They are finally able to explore the headwaters of the Okavango Delta that have remained closed off from the rest of the world.
We have made some incredible discoveries, including at least 30 new species to science. None of this would have been possible without the help of the Halo Trust.
But there is still work to do. There are at least another 500,000 landmines left in the ground. And to achieve the international goal of removing all landmines worldwide by 2025, the Halo Trust needs funding to increase their local demining staff.
We're the only people who can do this work at the scale we do it and as efficiently as we do it. There's still a job to do. It's not finished by a long shot.
Espero que se haja forma, força para outra e apoio para outra pessoa. Ainda continua esse trabalho até que apresente Angola livre de mina.
Well, I can tell you enjoyed the film. I have had the honor of visiting 3 minefields in Angola, and each time was a life-changing moment. So I truly hope that each of you in the room has the opportunity someday to do so, and I'm sure that Halo Trust can make that possible. We are also honored to have in the room today some of our Angolan staff from the field who have traveled to be with us. So Valdemir, Gabriel, Luiana, can you please stand up? So they'll be around after the event. Please take the time and chat with them. I think you'll find it very worthwhile. The commitment of these deminers and supporting staff, mostly local, many of them women, is powerful, and it reflects the ethos of the Halo organization. This starts at the top with the admirable and inspiring leadership of our first speaker today, the Halo Trust's Chief Executive, James Cowan. James?
Your Excellency, Foreign Minister, Prince Harry, honoured guests, I'm extremely honoured to be celebrating Angola's historic leadership in landmine clearance. I've just made my 10th trip to Angola in August, and that's because a few countries are more important to me personally and to the Halo Trust. Few countries have been more deeply affected than Angola by the scourge of landmines. Millions of mines were laid across Angola over the span of 40 years of conflict, including a 27-year-long civil war that ended in 2002. We don't know the exact number of landmines laid, but it estimates around 9 to 15 million. Since Halo's Angolan deminers started clearing the country 30 years ago in 1994, they have destroyed more than 115,000 landmines in more than 1,000 minefields. Not only has this work vastly increased the safety of Angola's people and its wildlife, it's also unblocked key transportation routes so that people and goods can move more freely. When one area is cleared, it spurs economic activity and development all around it. We still have so much to do, and with more than 1,000 minefields remaining, our work is unfinished. But with the government of Angola and other partners by our side, we can get this job done. Together, we will remove all the mines and build a prosperous future for the people of Angola. Halo was here at the start, and Halo will be here at the end. But why should we want to get rid of 100% of the mines? Why not just clear a few safe paths and then walk away? Well, here's why. Without the confidence that mined land is completely free of explosives, children can't play safely, farmers dare not till their land, provinces can't grow economically if land is contaminated, the private sector won't invest, and tourists won't visit. In short, landmine clearance not only saves lives and limbs, but it improves livelihoods, access to markets, and economic productivity. This helps restore billions in economic value to conflict-affected countries like Angola. We've done surveys to understand better the transformative economic impact of mine clearance for the people of Angola. Thanks to their land being cleared, some 81% of households have better access to essential services like healthcare and education. 90% are planning to start businesses. 67% have increased food security, and crop incomes have soared by nearly 200%. Globally, the Halo Trust has more than 12,000 staff across 30 countries who have gained long-term employment and vital skills by clearing landmines in their own communities. In Angola, this force is 1,600 strong, and more than half of these deminers are women. We've even pioneered all-female demining teams in parts of Angola. But what really makes our work in Angola stand out is that there's an explicit focus on environmental conservation. And it's thanks to the government of Angola's investment that we've been able to better protect this precious land. In 2019, the government of Angola made a historic investment of some $60 million for humanitarian mine clearance in Cuando province, which is unlocking the vast potential of the Okavango region for its people and wildlife. This is paving the way for sustainable development, conservation, and economic growth. We are grateful to the government of Angola for its visionary leadership. The project involves the release of 153 minefields, totaling 15 square kilometres across UNGA, Luiana, and Mavinga national parks. Demining efforts in the Okavango drive sustainable development by prioritising clearance along corridors that connect key areas. The Angolan government is safeguarding lives and laying the foundations for a thriving, interconnected region. And the Angolan government's leadership is coming at a time when we see landmines being used in new and devastating ways in other conflicts, notably in Ukraine. Angola gives the world hope that wars can end and there can be a future. We should draw inspiration from Angola's example and stand with the country as it finishes the job. It's also worth noting that we would not be here talking about Angola. We almost certainly couldn't have realised the successes we've achieved were it not for Diana, Princess of Wales, and the incredible legacy she left behind. In 1997, Princess Diana walked across a cleared, safe path in a minefield in Wambo, Angola, and galvanised the world's attention. Her advocacy set the stage for the Landmine Ban Treaty and for governments and the private sector to end the scourge of landmine contamination. The Halo Trust is thrilled, therefore, that her son, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, has directly carried on her legacy and the clarion call for landmine clearance. In 2019, USA visited that former minefield in Wambo, which is now that bustling town you saw in the video, and saw firsthand the promise for human life and the natural environment that a mine-free Angola will provide. You've been one of our most ardent voices and advocates for mine clearance, and I'm thrilled that you have made time to be with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted, therefore, to give the floor to Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex.
Thank you very much, James. Hola, bienvenido. I'm honoured to be here this afternoon. It's already feeling like the end of the day. It's not yet. As you know, the Halo Trust work in Angola meant a great deal to my mother. Carrying on her legacy is a responsibility that I take incredibly seriously. And I think we all know how much she'd want us to finish this particular job. We're all here because we're a band of true believers fighting for a mine-free world. Yes, it's an ambitious goal. We know the road ahead is long and challenging, but resigning to complacency and/or despair are obstacles far more insurmountable. So we remain resolute as we work toward a future where landmines are a distant memory, where families and communities can thrive off of their land without fear of life-changing injuries or death, where countries can finally declare that they are landmine-free and experience the immense opportunities and change that come with it. We're fortunate to have Foreign Minister Tete Antonio and a large delegation of ministers representing President Lorenzo and the Angolan government here today. Angola, under President Lorenzo's leadership, has set the gold standard for commitment and accomplishment in demining their country. This goes beyond just numbers. Mines cleared and money allocated. It's about actual lives and actual progress. Angola has brought a collaborative spirit and relentless determination to this endeavour. Demining on such a monumental scale is a challenge for any country, let alone one that has emerged from centuries of colonialism and decades of civil war. Yet Angola, facing a myriad of urgent challenges, remains steadfast in this mission. The key to the country's approach has been collaboration across countries, world bodies, and political ideologies. They work with big companies, non-profits, and the UN, pulling everyone they can into the effort. This level of diplomacy and leadership has allowed Halo to expand its operations, with funding from the US State Department, BP, and the UK government. And as you've already heard, in 2019, the Angolan government pledged an unprecedented $60 million to fund a 5-year project with Halo to clear landmines from over 15 kilometers squared across 153 minefields in Cuando Cabango province. This support continued through 2022 and 2023, despite global financial constraints and the pandemic. In the same year of 2019, I walked in my mother's footsteps in Huambo, Angola. Where she first walked in 1997, I found a bustling, vibrant town. I met hundreds of school children who had no idea that the ground that they stood on was once riddled with landmines. It is moments like these that I am personally grateful for our collective efforts, grateful for the resolve and determination to see this through. It was also in 2019 that the Angolan government tasked Halo with clearing their wildlife parks, specifically in the UNGA, Luana and Mavinga national parks. Mine clearance and conservation are inextricably linked. Angola's targeted strategy on its portion of the Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area, known as CASA, demonstrates the holistic approach of both Angola and Halo. The area itself spans 5 African countries, and much like the Delta waters, the region's wildlife naturally needs to move across these borders. But mines and other factors have made that impossible. Angola, with the headwaters of the Okavango, recognises it must partner with others, while Botswana recognises that a significant number of Angolan elephants are stuck in their country and trying to return home. This much-needed Pan-African cooperation reminds me of a song by the Jamaican reggae artist Burning Spear called Elephants. And no, I'm not going to sing it, even though you'd like me to. Burning Spear sings of elephants defending each other and moving as one. He pleads for African nations to do the same, to stand up as one, to live as one. And in Gaza, that is exactly what's happening. This essential cross-border cooperation recognizes that this priceless natural asset belongs to all, elephants and people alike. Clearing these mines is about more than just physical safety. It's about opportunity, community, and collective well-being. That sense of peace improves well-being, and the work being done in Angola will undoubtedly have a profoundly positive effect on the lives of its people and all those who visit its natural beauty. And much has changed in my life and the world since 2019 when I first visited Huambo. In those 5 years, I've become a father for the second time. And while you don't need children to have a stake in the future of our planet, I do know that my mother would have been horrified that anyone's children or grandchildren live in a world still infested with mines. But even as mine technology shockingly continues to be deployed today, technology remains part of the solution. The Halo Trust's work in Ukraine is fueling an innovation agenda supporting efforts wherever they work. While drones are weapons, they are also lifesavers. They can both detect and disable mines. It's also down to Halo's awareness campaign, which has been viewed over 200 million times by 15.2 million Ukrainians, that lives are being saved. Halo's recent partnership with Amazon Web Services to utilize AI to analyze drone footage will yield greater dividends. It has the potential to rapidly and accurately analyze and disseminate drone information for Halo's workers in the field, of which there are thousands of highly skilled personnel putting their lives at risk every single day. Africa, and Angola in particular, has an incredibly young population, a demographic wave that surges with energy and optimism, holding the promise of a bright future for Angola's youth. For them, a world without mines must be a moral imperative for all of us. The land and its animals are assets that belong to them and will give them decades-long financial security and opportunity through tourism. It is their future that we must protect and secure, and one that the President recognizes so well. So, let's honor Angola and its leadership for their incredible work and transformational commitments. And tomorrow, let's wake up and let's get back to work. Let's renew our commitments and let's finish the job for all our sakes, so we too can look back in awe and relief. And so those who started this recovery and regeneration many years ago can rest knowing that we really did finish the job. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince Harry. I actually had the wonderful opportunity to be in Jericho with you in 2019, and I've seen how your actions and so many others from that trip and others have really catalyzed so much goodwill and opportunity and funding. So thank you for that, and I agree we really need to continue the job. So our next speaker is a great friend of ours. And I'm going to keep this short because he needs a little introduction, but also because Senator Coons is an incredibly humble human being. But he is also a true hero and absolutely walks the walk when it comes to leading on bipartisan legislation. Senator Coons has authored some of the most important environmental protections, including the Delta Act, and that because he recognizes the potential for the Okavango Delta to enable enormous growth and prosperity for the people of Angola once the land is cleared of mines. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Chris Coons.
Well, thank you so much, and good afternoon, everybody. Oh, my. It is indeed a good afternoon, and such a blessing and joy to be with you. Prince Harry, thank you for your leadership, for your heart, for your vision, for sustaining the legacy of your mother, and for inspiring a whole new generation around the world to be engaged in this critical work against the scourge of landmines. To Your Excellency, Minister Tete Antonio, it is wonderful to be with you again. To General Cowan, thank you for your leadership of the Halo Trust, and to Susan for always getting me into good trouble. The last time I was in Luanda having a wonderful visit, we had an opportunity to see, as a delegation of the U.S. Senate, directly the work of Halo Trust's local workers, the risk, the skill, the determination involved. Minister, your nation is indeed a great example for our world of what it means to work through the recovery of the tragedy of decades of war, which requires discipline, investment, and work. Angola is a nation blessed by incredible people, remarkable natural resources, stunning biodiversity, some of the greatest areas of wilderness left in the world, and people yearning for a better future. And under the leadership of President Lourenço, you have invested significantly in clearing the land of mines, but there is so much left to do. In the Senate, I'm the co-chair of the International Conservation Caucus, and as Susan mentioned generously, I've worked in a bipartisan way to sustain our investment in demining and our partnerships around the world. But it is Halo Trust that has led the way. I still remember, as a much younger man, watching Princess Diana in that moment and having greater clarity about what is necessary and what is possible. It is tragic that today a new nation, Ukraine, is the most heavily mined in the world, and that a new challenge arises in the future. But it is so inspiring that in Angola we have a nation whose leadership and whose people have done so much to heal the land, to secure wildlife and wild spaces, and farmland and agricultural potential through the work of demining. I will confess I am excited about the imminent visit of President Biden to Angola, but I suspect there is no more important visit than a return of Prince Harry to celebrate the legacy and the future of the Halo Trust and the deep partnership between Angola and this treasured and valuable work to unlock the potential of the future. Thank you. Do you want me to introduce President? It's now my honor to introduce a friend, a real leader, who will speak on behalf of the Republic of Angola, the Minister of External Affairs, Minister Tete Antonio.
Senator, what a challenge. I don't have your energy, but I'm going to try. Eu vou falar em português, tanto com as parcerias. Muito obrigado.
Minister Tete, you have proven over and over to be a great friend of conservation, development, and demining, and a spokesperson for your country. But it's really the Halo Trust who has to thank you and your government for the opportunity to support. And as James said, we were here in the beginning, and we will be here until the job is done. And Prince Harry, you're right, we have to get to work. Maybe not even tomorrow, maybe today. So thank you to all of our inspirational speakers, His Excellency Minister Tete, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, Senator Coons, and Halo's Chief Executive James Cowan. So we now invite you to stay for the reception that will follow, again to meet with our local staff, who will also be available for press interviews, and I think there'll probably be many of those. So I'm going to ask you all to remain in your seats while our distinguished speakers leave the room. But again, thank you to our speakers, and thank you to all of you for being here today. See you in a bit.
In January of 1997, landmines were the furthest thing from our brains. We were getting ready for the inauguration of Bill Clinton's second term. We were wrapped up in our own domestic politics. It seized every channel of news in the United States. And it was, just such a riveting presence to see the most famous woman in the world in one of the most dangerous places on the planet. As somebody who works for Halo, as someone who's donned that same body armor that she wore on that day and has taken a step into a minefield and felt that terror and trepidation for the first time, I am sure that it was terrifying for her, but I know that she understood the importance of her taking that step, understood that she could bring this issue to a world stage. Diana's walk through that minefield mobilized the entire international community around this tragic threat. And as a result, most of the minefields that we were dealing with in 1997 are gone, and we owe that all to her. And now that legacy is being carried on with her son. When I went back to Wambo in 2019 to witness Prince Harry making that historic walk, retracing his mother's footsteps, the transformation was powerful and shocking. Often noticing the school and the hospital that had been built on that land that had been cleared, all of that absence was now present with life and with joy of school children lined up in their white uniforms, cheering and singing to Harry on the sidelines. A place that was nothing but death and danger. Now this vibrant urban city in the second largest city in Angola, and all of that made possible by his mother's sacrifice, her vision, and Harry picking up the baton, him making that walk as a tribute to her, but as a reminder to all the rest of us that there's more work to be done.
Well, to walk in her footsteps is clearly quite emotional for me. But I think as much as she did then, there is still so much to do. But without question, if she hadn't have campaigned the way that she did, this could arguably still be a minefield. So I'm incredibly proud of what she's been able to do, and meet these kids here who were born on this street, who actually didn't even know that this was a minefield.